Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who's joining us across the globe. And welcome to our Powered by Niagara Framework Spotlight content, introducing some of our Niagara devices that are provided by some of our portability partners. My name's Jacqueline Walpole. I'm a Senior Product Manager here at Tridium. My main responsibilities include licensing, which is overarching all Tridium products, and also the teams that design and maintain our partner portals, such as the Niagara Licensing and Community. Today, I'm going to be welcoming Pavel Shalmansky and Laura Hiley to provide a spotlight on their devices that are powered by Niagara. Just a couple of housekeeping notes. If you have any questions that you would like to ask during this session, if you just pop them into the Q&A section, we'll try and answer some in text in there. But if we have enough time at the end of our presentations, we'll try and answer a couple of those live as well. Please note this whole session is being recorded and it will be made available to everyone through the Tridium website. I'll show you a bit later at the end how to access that. And similarly, all of the slides will be provided as well in a PDF form through that. So, you may have heard about some different names that we call Niagara Portability. We also talk about devices powered by the Niagara Framework, and you might have heard the term Platform Independent Niagara. And these are all different terms that just explain what we call our Portability Program. This is where Tridium shares with some of our special OEM partners a software development kit that allows them to be able to port Niagara onto their devices in the same way that effectively Tridium puts Niagara onto the Jace. This is something that isn't that well known about. It's been going on for many years, and I think you will find that obviously some of our partners out there who have been with us since the early days have been using portability on their devices for a long time. For example, LinkSpring and Centraline and Phoenix Contact, they all had Niagara AX portability devices. So this is just the first in a series of spotlight sessions that we'd like to be able to provide to introduce to the wider community some of the different devices that are available that do have Niagara on board. When we talk about some of these devices, here are some of the examples of the different types of controllers that we do have out there. And today we're going to be talking to as I say, Laura from Tyrrell and Pavel from iSMA Controlli about their devices. So portability is required if you're installing Niagara on a platform that's got different hardware and I/O requirements. So native code is required to actually interact with the hardware. Obviously, the different scenario that we talk about with supervisors is the fact that with supervisors, there is an operating system that we already create a Niagara image that runs on Windows or Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So when it comes to portability, who's who and what happens? So we start out with an OEM who wants to put Niagara onto their own hardware to sell through their channel of resellers, distributors, systems integrators. They might manufacture the hardware themselves, or they might specify and procure the manufacture from a third party. But key thing is we have a relationship set up and a business case put together between championed by the sales representative to actually explain what the opportunity is and to ensure that there is the capability within the OEM to be able to carry this out. Because bear in mind, as I've talked about, this is about embedded hardware, embedded software and hardware and firmware. And this isn't the usual wheelhouse for a normal Niagara developer, which is primarily Java and above. So in this case, we get the business case put forward. We do have very stringent checks. And as I say, this is quite a special relationship that we have. And Tridium puts in a lot of effort too. This isn't just something we have on the price list and is just, we want to just encourage everyone to do. And that's partly because, you know, Tridium wants to ensure that any of these relationships that we put effort into are going to be successful, and it's going to provide a beneficial device for our community to use. So when we've gone through that whole business case process and we have an internal PAC meeting, then we have what's known as the PIN addendum. That's PIN standing for Platform Independent Niagara, addendum to your reseller agreement. And that's the contract that allows you access to proprietary code and everything else that we share with you. And when that's signed, we get that Niagara Portability Software Development Kit, NPSDK, shared with you, and provide specialist higher level technical support. And it means the OEM can go through the process of putting Niagara onto their device. Notice we have an approval process. So when the port is completed, we ask for devices to be sent in to our headquarters, where our engineers carry out a very stringent review of what's happened. This is where they look at key factors such as what's the cybersecurity like? Is there secure boot? How has the actual port been done? And they're looking at those key things, not necessarily at, you know, the applications that put on top of Niagara. This is about how the port's being carried out. When that review has been carried out successfully, then the device can use the Powered by Niagara framework logo. And that's when we set up licensing models, bearing in mind, many of you are used to having, you know, purchasing and specifying licensing for JACEs and supervisors. We have to set all of that up for these other devices. As I say, Tridium does get involved to quite a degree too. So when that's all ready, then the OEM can sell to their customers and provide them customer support. Note, that's something that, you know, we try to ensure that we support the OEM, and then the OEM can support their customers. So what's this NPSDK I've talked about? So this is essentially an HTML interactive document pack, and it contains codes, code snippets, tools, and documentation that are necessary to be able to enable running the Niagara 4 framework on your target platform. This includes, you know, full test harnesses and other such things that help the partner to be able to do it. But there isn't a training course as such as to how to do this. You will have seen, you know, there are only a limited number of devices and a limited number of OEMs that we've done this, set up this relationship with. And so it's something that we don't have an off-the-shelf training course. We expect the partner to be capable of doing the embedded software, but we will help support them through that process. So what is portability? I think a key thing that many people question is whether or not a third-party device that's powered by Niagara still has the same Niagara framework on it as we do on the JACE. And I want to assure you, this is still the same Niagara goes on top. The key things that our partners do is they do all those red bits. They do sort out the native platform code and the operating system and the Java virtual machine and all the other elements that are required in order to enable the Niagara framework to work. So in that respect, please remember that the Niagara that sits on top, it's still the same Niagara. And you will have actually seen this, that on many of your price lists, you might have noticed that there was a new batch of SMA parts that were added this year. And they are the SMAs, which are the equivalent to JACE SMAs, and they are available on the different portability devices. And the main reason we've added all of those to everyone's price list is so that they are able to buy Enterprise SMA, another Tridium talk I spoke to you about at the back end of last year. And Enterprise SMA allows you to renew the SMA across all of your devices, and that includes your JACEs, your supervisors, and your portability devices. So just when I've explained to you what portability is, I want to introduce you to a new form of portability that we've been working on, and we are launching with Niagara 413 later this year. Now, this is Niagara containerization, because many people have asked, well, isn't it easier if we can just use Niagara in a Docker container? And some of our OEMs that we've spoken to about doing portability, they've not wanted to do the full embedded hardware piece. They've had a device that runs a Docker container and actually wants to put Niagara in that. So we have been working on this new method of deployment, and this is where partner OEMs can add their own applications as required to a standard Docker container that we will supply them with, and then they will be able to deploy these containers onto their own devices. Now, key thing about this is this is aimed for OEMs who are using a container management system, and this is effectively OEMs who are expecting to get involved with the actual management of the software on the devices, because the key thing about containerization is it helps to facilitate easy remote deployment and updating of Niagara on connected devices. So for this, we're introducing a new method of commissioning whereby when commissioning Niagara onto those devices, you set this up instead of standard mode, you would set it up in subscription mode. And when that happens, it will contact the Tridium entitlement server to authorize the installation, deploy the license, and enable the license to stay activated. So I think key thing you would have heard there is Containerized Niagara is being launched as a subscription only service, and that is from 413. Now, we're working on this at the moment, and we're in our pilot phase at the moment, and we've been working with 3 main partners for that. But we are now just about to be heading into beta for this, whereby we have our entitlement server set up, and we are going to be moving into the next stage of testing for those. So we're hoping that we will have some commercial offerings targeted to coincide with our Niagara 413 release. So back to standard portability, and I would like to hand over next to Pavel Szymanski from ISMA Controlli. Yeah, I'm just handing over 1 second and just give you the screen. There we go.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for the introduction. And hello, everyone. This is Pavel Szymanski, Solution Product Manager at iSMA Controlli. As iSMA Controlli, we are manufacturer of innovative building solutions, from valves and actuators to multi-protocol I/O modules, comfort management and DDC controllers to our hybrid IoT controllers powered by Niagara. As a company with more than 85 years of experience, we have also customers in more than 70 countries. The background of our company, we are Tridium partners since 2009 and an OEM partner since 2012. As a developer, we are committed to creating software that simplifies the use and integration of iSMA Controlli products in Niagara framework as much as possible. As a portability partner, we began our journey in 2017 and have been providing hybrid IoT controllers to the market ever since. In 2021, Global Control 5 of ISMA brand merged with Controlli and forms today ISMA Controlli company. All right, and the subject of today's TridiumTalk is our MAC36NL, an award-winning solution that was, among others, the best product in the building automation category at 2022 HR Expo Innovation Awards. A hybrid IoT controller as a combination of innovative hardware and a future-proof Niagara framework. So what is this all about? We focus on small and medium-sized buildings. Based on recent studies, small and medium-sized buildings account for 94% of all buildings and for 50% of the stock floor area of commercial buildings. And only 13% of those buildings have a building automation system. We are talking about restaurants, gas stations, retail stores, hotels, small offices, schools, and more. And for most of these facilities, the BMS was out of reach until the MAC36NL controller came along. MAC36NL is available in 3 hardware versions and is a part of our small and medium BMS solution that includes also the JACE controller and our HMI panels. The backbone of the MAC36NL controller is the Power of Niagara framework with its all amazing features, 36 onboard inputs and outputs, cost-effective visualization platform. Thanks to the HDMI output for screen connection and the USB for connecting peripherals for visualization control, it creates a cost-effective visualization platform. And also the expandability option with 2 IP interfaces and the RS485 port on it. Additional hardware versions are available with integration with not 1, but 2 RS485 ports, or direct integration of M-Bus meters in the MAC36NL M version with the built-in M-Bus interface that allows to connect and power up to 20 M-Bus meters. But let's take a look at the details of the controller. Underneath Niagara is a unique Linux distribution called ISMA OS. The controller works with Niagara from version 4.4 and runs on 1 GHz dual-core processor. All information from the controller, the Niagara, and the user files are stored on the 4 GB micro SD card. And this allows for a hassle-free on-site hardware replacement as well. The controller is equipped with 2 fast internet ports working in independent mode, up to 2 RS485 ports, M-Bus interface, the HDMI interface, 2 USBs, and 36 inputs and outputs. The flexible licensing starts from 100 proxy points and goes up to 1,250 points. The point upgrades start from 50 points, and the 36 lock IOs are pre-licensed without the regard to base capacity of the controller license. And of course, the licensing process is as expected from a Niagara controller. So licenses can be managed using Niagara Central and downloaded using the Workplace License Manager. So to summarize, let's take a look at the key features of the MAC36NL. So we have a versatile combination of 36 inputs and outputs. The controller has two USB ports dedicated to connect a screen touch or a mouse and keyboard. It also can power your phone in case of a need on the side. There's an HDMI interface to connect directly an external display. And we also have external displays in our offering for this controller as well. A powerful multi-core platform with 1 GB of RAM and EEPROM memory for data recovery service, and the micro SD card, which is removable and swappable between the hardwares. A useful LEDs panel with all I/O, communication, and station statuses. And one of those great features that combines the high-end technology and a screwdriver, which are the onboard deep and rotary switches, represented in Niagara framework as components that can be used as a part of the application. And of course, the Niagara framework itself. MAC36NL supports Niagara since version 4.4, and we support the latest version of Niagara, which is 4.12. We have an ongoing upgrade process at iSMA Controlli to bring all the latest features of Niagara to MAC36NL. We want to ensure a seamless Niagara experience. This is why we are adding additional services, which allows you to integrate and configure different parts of the system, such as external HMI screens. With MAC36NL, the HMI display can be easily managed within the Niagara system. You have an option to set a screen server time. You can create a standby time. You can set the auto login details with a username and password for the proper user from Niagara platform. So we have all those options to reduce the labor costs associated with the display configuration. In addition to the controller itself, the MAC36NL come pre-licensed for 2 graphic packages that allow efficient creation of visualizations in Niagara, which is ISMA EC2D graphics and the ISMA graphics packages. So when you think of small and medium-sized buildings, think no longer of multiple network controllers, gateways, supervisors. Think of the hybrid IoT controller MAC36NL powered by Niagara. Thanks very much, everyone. I give voice back to Jacqueline.
Thank you very much. And let's get me controlling the screen again. That's great. I'm back in control. So thank you, Pavel. Sorry. And I think you brought up a very good point in the fact that one of the key things and one of the reasons why we introduced the portability program is to be able to provide a range of different devices that our channel and partner and community could use. And that key element of targeting a controller at those small and medium buildings is a great example of that. So I would like to move on now to our spotlight number 2, to someone who obviously I can't speak highly enough about, and that is Laura Hiley from Tyrrell Products. Laura, would you like to take control of the screen?
I will, thank you. Let's try and do this. Oops. Okay, let's see if this works. So good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Laura Hiley. I'm Sales Director at Tyrrell Products. I'm approaching 11 years with the company now. Some of you may have crossed paths with me in the past at different exhibitions, and I may be new to some of you. Tyrrell Products was formed in 2011, but the sister company was formed back in 1998. So we've 25 years industry experience, primarily focused on integration. So the quirky, weird and wonderful jobs I'm sure everybody's come across at some point. If there wasn't a way to resolve that or meet the customer's expectations, we tried our best to develop a solution to allow our partners to do so. We've now got 40 partners worldwide, and we are proud to be a Tridium official trainer, developer, distributor, and now portability partner as well. I don't have as many slides as Pavel, and that was a great presentation, so thank you for that. Feeling the pressure, we'll go for it. So these are some of our areas of expertise. So not only do we do JCs and our own hardware, I/O modules, we also have a wide range of sensors, screens for panels or wall mounting, and an analytics solution also. With R&D capabilities, we can develop third-party drivers for Niagara, such as our trend driver, and we have a suite of mobile applications to allow remote access in a more user-friendly way, not so much engineering style. We do a lot of fire monitoring integration, so we have drivers for Advanced, Kiddie, Notifier. The majority of the major fire panel manufacturers you can integrate into an existing Niagara BMS system. We've worked in smart buildings, but also in smart cities, and we've numerous case studies from clients demonstrating our success in not only delivering, but exceeding their expectations. Our partners worldwide take our drivers, our hardware, install them and deliver outstanding solutions to their end clients. I'm proud to have worked with these partners across the whole time I've been at Tyrrell, and I'm excited to grow that partner network as well. These are some of the regions our partners cover, and I'm sure anybody else out there, if you're interested, please take my details at the end and we can follow up with a separate conversation. So this is one of our original portability devices. Now, I'm sure many engineers have come across those sites, quite remote, places you don't want if you get a call out is not round the corner and quite difficult to access. So typically you would install a router or a modem alongside the Niagara controllers to give you remote access. When portability became a solution for us, we thought, why not take an existing cellular router that we had and were deploying on numerous sites, port Niagara onto that. So you have the full capabilities of the controller, but also the cellular connectivity. And I'm sure most of you will remember a time called COVID when we couldn't get access to anywhere. This was a perfect solution. One of my clients was introduced to this due to component shortages on other hardware and is excited by it. It works. He's ordered numerous quantities. As Jacqueline said, it is a fully capable Niagara controller. I won't go through the features on board. You can see them listed there. And as she said, if you have any questions, please note them at the end or contact me after this call. Following on from this device, we were inspired then to go away and look at what hardware we feel the market is missing. We went to a few of our partners. We believe the voice of the customer is really important. At the end of the day, it's you guys on site delivering the solution. So what could we develop to make your lives easier? That brings us on to our EBMS IoT controller. I believe incorporating feedback from partners that we have developed one of the most powerful and cost-effective controllers to date. Feedback on this already has been great. The pricing seems to be right, and it is extremely powerful. There's two variants of this controller, one developed in partnership with Intel, providing performance capabilities we just haven't seen before. I'll go on to that in a second. You can see there there's a range of I/O on board, 485, 232 ports, and 4G cellular connectivity. So there's a SIM card slot on board. You can load any third-party drivers into this controller. Loaded with our SMS driver, you could also get text message notifications, not just on the controller status, but on the I/O. What is going on site, the information that's vitally important for you guys to deliver and exceed your customers' expectations from service providing. So we support Niagara 4.10 onwards. 4.10 is a long-term maintenance release Tridium have. And as I said, it's compatible with all third-party drivers, such as our trend driver. So we have a trend IP or an emulator driver. I'll be careful what I say, but if you were to load it with the trend emulator driver, it could sit on an existing trend network and push that data to an alternative front end if Niagara wasn't in there already. So as I said, the performance is what's important. We have Rob Heathcock, some of you may know, he's approaching 22 years in the business and started as an engineer. So Rob has sat on site late into the evening through to the early morning when you have the usual teething troubles. And when you come to restart a controller or you've made changes, you don't have time to wait around. So we've done some tests on different controllers available in the market, and you can be waiting minutes, plus 5 minutes for the controller to come on. These tests were from power on to station running. Now, as you can see, 45 seconds is pretty spectacular. No more waiting around, you can make the changes. As I said, we just want to make your lives easier. We feel we've done that with this controller. This is the first launch of it, so we will be offering some higher discount for people to try it and get proof in what I am saying is correct. As Pavel said, all portability is licensed the same as any other Niagara controller, whether it be a Jace. So we start at 100 points, all the way up to 25,000 if you wish. And the maintenance applies like it does a Jace controller. Our drivers run regardless of the maintenance status, so you've no need to worry about that expiring and experiencing issues there. As I said, not too many slides. I just wanted to give you a bit of an introduction into what we've developed, and I would be more than happy to answer questions or arrange meetings offline to showcase this to you, put it in front of you and see the latest innovation and what I believe is a powerful controller. We're actively seeking additional partners and distribution partners. So whether you're an existing member of the Niagara community or a Tridium direct distributor, you too can introduce this innovative technology to your partner network by partnering with Tyrrell Products. I hope that was okay, and I look forward to hearing from people either on this call or afterwards. I will try and give it back to Jacqueline.
Thank you very much, Laura. Let's see whether I've got control again. Here we go. Yes, I have. Thank you very much. I hope everyone's enjoyed seeing these two spotlights today. Certainly, if you need any further contact details, they are included in here in the slide deck. But if you want to get in touch, if you have any questions that you put into the Q&A, if we have your details, signed up with your email address, etc., then we'll be able to follow up with you, and we'll pass those on to Pavel and Laura as well to follow up with you as necessary. So, as I mentioned, where can you find more information? So if you go to the Tridium.com website, if you go to Products, Niagara Framework, you'll see that Powered by Niagara is sitting there alongside Niagara Supervisor Jace and Edge 10. And if you navigate there, then that will take you to our Powered by Niagara page. This explains, a very brief bit about the Portability Program. But also a new thing that we've just added recently, and this is to be able to give greater visibility to the wider community about the devices, and that is we have new listings there with the partner offerings Powered by Niagara. The first two are up there, which are obviously ISMA Controlli and Tyrrell, who are here with us today. But come next week, we will be getting up listings for most of our other portability partners. And these will obviously include Phoenix Contact and LinkSpring and Conservit. And certainly we are hoping to have a another Spotlight session coming up soon. I think the date we've got penciled in for it so far is June, but I would like to be able to have these sessions at least once a quarter ongoing, so that new offerings and updates to existing devices or new devices from existing partners can be showcased to you on a regular basis. That being said, there are some very exciting new offerings that Tridium are talking to right now. So watch this space, because there could be a lot more coming soon. That being said, where can you find this recording? Again, the Tridium.com website. If you navigate to services and support at the top right there and go to events, then that's where all the Tridium events are listed, and all of the different Tridium talks that we've had are all listed there. You can access the recordings of the presentations. You can get access generally to the slide decks and the questions and answers. And on that topic, let's see what we've got in our questions that are still open. I noticed it says I've got one here, which would be for me, and it says, hello, does Tridium or any of your OEM partners, this is from Carl Nagel, have a solution which hosts a supervisor in the cloud that communicates securely to existing JACEs? And would this solution be supported by Tridium Niagara? Now, you would have seen where I was talking about Containerized Niagara. Certainly when we come to 4.13, there is potential that we are actually looking to launch a product which is actually Containerized Niagara that could be hosted in a cloud environment. So we'd be using the same subscription model that I was talking about, but this means that we would have a containerized package that could be deployed into any of the standard clouds, such as Google Cloud, AWS, or Azure. Because obviously each one of those cloud platforms has a Docker and container platform within them that you can utilize. So that is certainly something that we're doing, and watch this space, because we will be putting together more details of that, and we've been trialing that out at the moment, but we're hoping to launch that with 4.13. So there's a question here for ISMA. Pavel, would you like to answer that? Have you got view of the questions?
Sure. So we have a question from Giovanni Sfala about the device limit indicated in the licenses for ISMA MAC36NL. Device limit are indicated. What are they referring to? So the Niagara licensing vary between regions. In EMEA region, you have just the point limit. In the AMA region, there's a device and point limit. So it depends on the region where you buy your license, basically.
Great, thank you.
We had a second question about the graphic packages. From Charles, does MAC36NL also support the standard Niagara graphics packages as well? And yes, it does. MAC36NL support all the standard Niagara core, including the graphics, but in addition to that, the ISMA graphics comes per license with MAC36NL controller. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Pavel. Laura, there's a question in here from Rafael Capella for you too. When is the Tyrrell controller? When will it be available for shipping to end clients?
Hi, so the controller is available right now. Existing partners do have preference on orders they will be placing, but I believe we have manufactured enough of them to fulfill everybody's needs. So they are available from now. If you would like to discuss pricing and ordering, I am typing my email back to you now. So please don't hesitate to get in touch after this call.
I'm afraid we've distracted Laura slightly with dragging her into this Tridium talk when she really should be sorting out the launch of her new controller.
I can multitask, I think, so we'll see how it goes.
Great, thank you. So, oh, and suddenly we have some more questions coming in. Would you like to follow up with the Intel question about the Intel processor in the Tyrrell product, Laura?
Yes, I can. I can just answer really quickly. We would have two versions, so we have dual and quad core, and I can discuss specifications with you. I know it says anonymous, so I will answer my email. If you'd like to contact me, please do so.
Great. Thank you very much. I see there's been a couple of other questions that have been asked during the course of it, but they're no longer sitting as open. So with that, as I don't happen to have any further questions that are open, let's say thank you very much. Thanks for joining. Thanks for taking your time to join us today and to listen to what we have to say. Please watch out for another one of these spotlights coming soon, so that we can share with you details of even further devices. Thank you very much to Pavel. Thank you very much to Laura and everyone who's joined us today. Thank you.